Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Voilà, super, je vois des pouces se lever, donc je pense que les gens sont en train de se connecter. Donc, pendant qu'on se connecte, n'hésitez pas à nous indiquer dans le chat box déjà d'où vous venez. C'est toujours bien de savoir d'où les gens sont connectés. So good morning and good afternoon, everyone. As we are waiting a bit for everyone to be online, don't hesitate to already put in the chat box the country you're from, so then we can know where people are watching us. Wow, so I can see people from Malawi, Tanzania, Burkina Faso, Uganda, Côte d'Ivoire. It's going too quick, I can't read everyone. J'arrive à voir des gens qui viennent donc de l'Afrique du Sud, du Malawi, de la Côte d'Ivoire, du Bénin, du Togo, du Ghana, de la Zambie. Donc, ça passe très, très, très vite. Donc, j'arrive pas à tout voir. So, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour à toutes et à tous, encore une fois. Cette année, nous célébrons les 10 ans de la journée Ecobank. 10 ans d'impact auprès de nos communautés grâce à la mobilisation de tous les collaborateurs et de toutes les collaboratrices de Ecobank à travers l'ensemble de nos filiales. Cette célébration, c'est aussi l'occasion pour nous de lancer une nouvelle campagne triannuelle, la campagne Transformer l'Afrique grâce à l'éducation, en collaboration avec le Partenariat mondial pour l'éducation et ONU Femmes. This year, we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Ecobank Day. 10 years of impact towards our communities, thanks to the engagement of all Ecobank staff across all of our affiliates. With this celebration, we are also launching our 3-year campaign, Transforming Africa Through Education, in collaboration with the Global Partnership for Education and UN Women. My name is Elisa. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Ecobank Foundation, and I will be your moderator today. Donc, je m'appelle Elisa, je suis la directrice des opérations de la Fondation Ecobank et je vais être votre modératrice aujourd'hui. Mais avant de commencer, je vais vous partager quelques informations logistiques, à savoir que l'interprétation simultanée est disponible en français et en anglais pendant tout le webinaire. Vous avez juste à choisir la langue dans laquelle vous voulez suivre les conversations en cliquant sur la petite icône en bas de votre écran et en choisissant votre langue préférée. So before starting, I would like to share a few information, logistical information. Simultaneous interpretation is available in both French and English. So you may choose the language that you prefer to follow the conversation by clicking on the icon at the bottom of your screen, and then you will be able to select your preferred language. So from now on, you will then be able to listen to the entire conversation in this preferred language. So I'm just giving a bit of time to everyone to actually select the interpretation language. Donc, j'espère que maintenant, tout le monde a pu choisir la langue dans laquelle ils aimeraient suivre les discussions. Le sujet du webinaire d'aujourd'hui a été sélectionné par vous, grâce à un sondage que nous avons mené sur les réseaux sociaux au début du mois de septembre. Le pouvoir du codage et de la programmation pour dynamiser l'avenir digital de l'Afrique sera donc discuté par nos intervenants. Et vous allez voir, ce sont des passionnés du digital qui en ont fait leur métier et bien plus encore, comme vous le verrez d'ici. Pour rendre cet échange plus interactif et être sûr que les points qui vous intéressent sont vraiment soulevés, on va organiser 2 sondages supplémentaires live en direct pendant ce webinaire pour pouvoir guider les conversations. Et quand on arrivera à ce moment-là, je vous donnerai un petit peu plus d'indications, mais vous verrez, c'est très simple. À la fin des échanges, vous aurez également l'occasion de poser vos questions aux intervenants en les écrivant dans la boîte à questions qui se trouve en bas de l'écran, et vous pouvez déjà commencer à poser certaines de vos questions. Et pour conclure ce webinaire, on a prévu une petite surprise. Donc, je vous encourage à vraiment rester jusqu'au bout du webinaire et à être très attentif à ce qui sera dit. Enfin, si vous le souhaitez, vous pouvez continuer la conversation sur les réseaux sociaux en utilisant les hashtags hashtag Ecobank des 10 et hashtag Journée Ecobank 10. Maintenant, sans plus tarder, laissez-moi passer la parole à Monsieur Jérémy Abouri, le directeur général du groupe Ecobank, qui va nous donner son discours pour situer le contexte de ce webinaire.
Ladies and gentlemen, partners, good morning and good day. It's an immense pleasure to open the 10th edition of Ecobank Day, which marks the celebration of the 10th anniversary of Ecobank Day. This annual initiative is born not only from a desire to give back to our communities, but also from a vision to impact and transform the lives of our communities in which we operate. As we gather virtually today, I'm deeply grateful to our communities and the dedicated Ecobankers across our 33 affiliates. Your unwavering commitment has fueled a decade of impact and progress. This celebration gives us an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to continue to make a positive impact in the communities we serve through the Ecobank Foundation. For this 10th edition, we unveil our new 3-year campaign, Transforming Africa Through Education. Education, as you all know, is the cornerstone of our societies. Its power is huge as it gives people the knowledge and skills that they need to be financially independent, foster tolerance, and create wealth. Education stands as one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as well as one of the goals of the Africa Union's 2063 agenda. What makes me particularly proud is that the theme was chosen by Ecobankers themselves through a survey, a testament of the pivotal role we aspire to play in contributing to achieving these ambitions. The global economy is changing rapidly, and the imperative for reskilling becomes undeniable. By 2025, more than 1 billion jobs will require a fresh set of competencies, while nearly 77% of employers worldwide will find it difficult to fill roles with the skills they need. Today's youth must be armed with 21st century skills to navigate the new world and its complexity. In Africa, a study by the International Finance Corporation warns that by 2030, some 230 million jobs across the continent will demand digital proficiency, not solely within the tech sector, but across all domains. The epicenter of this transformation is our schools. Schools should equip children with the skills and knowledge that they will need throughout their lives. Excelling with digital skills has the power to transform a child's life and can boost the socio-economic transformation and growth of Africa. As we embark on the 2023 edition of Ecobank Day and commence the first year of our triennial campaign, we have chosen to champion digital skills. Our mission is to ensure that today's children and youth are equipped with the digital skills required for tomorrow's job. Today's webinar marks the first milestone of our 2023 Ecobank Day activities with insightful conversations on coding and programming. I'm sure you will appreciate the insights that our speakers will share today. I extend my gratitude to our partners, Global Partnership for Education and UN Women, for their valuable support in putting this webinar alongside the Ecobank Foundation. To walk the talk, we plan to support the creation of IT labs and offer our children digital training across our 33 countries. This Saturday, 21st October, these activities will come to life thanks to our Ecobank's volunteers. I also invite all of you to check out what Ecobank has planned in your country and to join us for another decade of impact. Once again, thank you for joining us this morning and enjoy the conversations, and more importantly, happy Ecobank Day.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, for your inspiring words and for reminding us the role of education as a cornerstone of our societies, as well as reminding that the choice of education as a theme for our next campaign has been chosen by all of the staff of Ecobank. So I would now like to introduce our keynote speakers. So Ms. Ramya Vivekanandan. Ramya is a senior education specialist at the Global Partnership for Education. She is a thematic lead So at GPE, she is also a thematic lead for teaching and learning. So before GPE, she worked for 11 years with UNESCO after several assignments focused on education in Sub-Saharan Africa. So Ramya is an expert in education, as you have seen from what I've just said. And so she will today share some insights on how policymakers take into consideration the fast-changing knowledge economy and the increasing demand of young people to be equipped with the 21st century skills and specifically digital skills. And Ramya, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Elisa. I hope that you can hear me okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much again, Elisa, and to Ecobank for this great invitation and for this partnership with the Global Partnership for Education, where I'm based. So as we just heard from the CEO, schools need to equip young people with the knowledge and the skills that they will need for life and in the world of today and tomorrow. So when we talk about 21st century skills, which is what I've been asked to speak about today, this is what it's all about. So we're nearly a quarter into this 21st century, and we know that the scale of the challenges and the developments that we face is unprecedented. Our kids today are growing up in a world marked by increasing strife and conflict, a dizzying pace of technological development, including the growth of automation and the advent of AI, rapid climate change, migration, information overload, a globalized economy, and so many other complexities. So I've been working in the field of education for more than 20 years, but I'm also a mother. I have an almost 10-year-old son. And when I think about the world in which he's growing up and how to best prepare him for it, I know that his being able to read, write, and do maths will not be enough. He will need digital skills, media and information literacy, the ability to collaborate with others, communication skills, climate awareness, and an understanding that he is a global citizen and what that means. He also needs to be able to create and innovate, to solve problems, and to value diversity. So this is what we're talking about when we speak of 21st century skills. And for the Global Partnership for Education, these skills are vital. In our strategy period up to 2025, we work to support our partner countries in preparing their students for the 21st century. And yet, we know that by 2030, according to UNICEF, an estimated 825 million children will not acquire the basic secondary level skills, such as transferable, digital, and job-specific skills needed to support lifelong learning and employment. We also know that the skills gap between low and high-income countries is deepening. By 2030, according to the Brookings Institution, 9 in 10 young people in low-income countries will not have basic secondary level skills. 9 in 10. And that's compared to 5 in 10 in middle-income countries and 3 in 10 in high-income countries. So GPE, where I work, is a multi-stakeholder partnership that supports the transformation of education systems in close to 90 partner countries around the world, predominantly low and lower middle-income countries. A majority of them are in Africa. And perhaps it's not surprising that these countries see the development of these skills through schools as vital. In Sierra Leone, for example, the national curriculum for both basic and senior secondary education uses something called the 5 C's framework, focusing on comprehension, critical thinking, computational thinking, creative thinking, and civic education. Kenya is supporting the national rollout of a competency-based curriculum for early years that aims to address the mismatch between what is taught in school and the requirements of the labor market. And GPE is supporting these efforts. But unlike the traditional subjects such as language, maths, science, and the like, it may not be apparent how to actually teach these skills or how to measure students' proficiency in them. When it comes to something like digital skills, for example, traditional teacher-centered rote learning, or what we call chalk and talk, simply won't cut it. 21st century skills require a shift in how we teach in order to be active, using methods such as group work and projects, for example. Something like creativity or critical thinking can't be measured by a multiple choice test. Assessment has to change too, in favor of tools such as portfolio and performance assessment, for example. And none of this is easy, especially in the context of many of the countries that we work with. But really, truly, it's difficult anywhere. But yet it is possible. We've worked, for example, with DRC, Cambodia, the Gambia, Mongolia, Nepal, and Zambia on the development of classroom-based tools to assess problem solving and critical thinking. In Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, we supported the assessment of 21st century skills in adolescents. And through our COVID-19 grant funding to 66 countries, a third of them focused on distance learning solutions and efforts to improve the digital skills of both students and teachers. But this is just the beginning of the story. We need more support and better understanding of how to integrate these 21st century skills across education systems. And this requires that we work in partnership. For GPE, as we work with so many stakeholders, this includes partnership with private sector actors, such as Ecobank, who we think are vital stakeholders in the quest to ensure that our young people can not only grapple with all that the 21st century encompasses, but also thrive in this ever-changing world. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ramia. Merci beaucoup, Ramia. Je sais que Ramia parle en français, donc je me permets de repasser au français pour aussi rappeler à toutes les personnes francophones que l'interprétation est disponible. Donc, vous avez juste besoin d'appuyer sur la petite icône en bas de votre écran et de choisir le français, et vous pourrez suivre les interventions des collègues anglophones et des partenaires anglophones en français. Donc, Ramia, encore une fois, merci beaucoup. Déjà, un special thank parce que je sais qu'il est très tôt aux États-Unis. Donc, merci beaucoup d'avoir pris le temps de se connecter de vous connecter avec nous ce matin. Merci d'avoir partagé votre expertise et de nous avoir donné cette vision d'ensemble de ce que sont les compétences de demain, les compétences du 21e siècle et des défis qu'on rencontre pour pouvoir les mettre en place. Donc, vraiment, un grand merci pour ça. Je pense que ça a été très instructif pour tout le monde. En tout cas, ça l'a été pour moi. Donc, un grand merci pour cela. Aujourd'hui, nous nous concentrons sur une de ces compétences particulières qui sont donc les compétences numériques et en particulier le codage et la programmation. Et pour pouvoir en discuter et discuter des opportunités et des défis, j'ai le plaisir d'être accompagnée par trois invités très spéciaux que j'aimerais pouvoir vous présenter. Donc, je vais commencer par Kadi Diouf. Kadi, bonjour. Kadi est une jeune femme passionnée par les technologies et l'entrepreneuriat. Elle incarne la fusion de la technologie et de l'innovation. Elle travaille avec une start-up en tant que développeuse sur un projet de filtre à eau usée. Elle est également la fondatrice de Yakanal, une solution d'optimisation de la consommation d'énergie, et de Yombale Market, une application de vente en ligne de poissons, de légumes et de recettes. Kadi est également une étudiante de l'initiative African Girls Can Code, qui est une initiative de ONU Femmes. Kadi, bienvenue. Très heureuse de vous avoir avec nous aujourd'hui. Notre deuxième panéliste aujourd'hui est Ronice Owino, qui est la fondatrice de Kids Can Code for Africa. Elle est également développeuse et profondément engagée dans l'enseignement des STEM. Elle a une formation en développement web et une certification en tant qu'animatrice STEM, ce qui lui permet d'apporter à la prochaine génération d'ingénieurs et d'inventeurs et de pouvoir s'épanouir en rendant les projets STEM attrayants et accessibles aux enfants. La mission de Renis, c'est vraiment de doter les jeunes esprits de compétences et des connaissances nécessaires pour façonner un avenir technologique plus radieux. Et enfin, notre dernier intervenant pour ce matin, c'est Wiza Jalakassi, qui est un expert en développement commercial international spécialisé dans la mise en place de l'opérationnalisation des startups technologiques et performantes en Afrique. Il est titulaire d'un diplôme en technologie des systèmes d'information de l'Université internationale des États-Unis et il est également directeur du développement du marché africain chez Ecobank, qui est une société brésilienne de traitement de paiement présente dans plus de 29 pays à travers le monde. Donc, comme vous pouvez le constater, nous avons vraiment un panel de très haut niveau ce matin, mais en même temps, des jeunes, des personnes qui sont déjà passionnées et engagées pour les compétences numériques. Donc, sans plus tarder, je vais leur demander à chacun d'entre eux, et je vous demande à chacun d'entre vous de bien vouloir vous présenter, mais la manière dont j'aimerais que vous puissiez vous présenter, c'est de nous raconter comment a été votre première rencontre avec le codage et la programmation. Kadi, j'aimerais commencer par vous, s'il vous plaît.
Bonjour à tous. Alors, moi, c'est Khadija. Bonjour à tous. Je suis ravie d'être ici aujourd'hui pour discuter de l'avenir numérique en Afrique et le pouvoir du codage. Merci de m'avoir invité en tant que panéliste. Je suis Khadija, 21 ans, passionnée de l'informatique et de l'entrepreneuriat. Mon parcours est ancré dans le domaine de la technologie et de la cybersécurité. Je suis actuellement étudiante en licence 3 en cybersécurité et je suis également membre de l'initiative African Girls Can Code. Je travaille aussi en tant que développeuse IoT au sein de la startup Prodem. Alors, ma première expérience avec le codage et la programmation est relativement récente, datant de mes années d'études à l'ICEP de Diamniadio en 2021. C'est là que j'ai été incitée à l'univers passionnant de l'Internet des objets IoT. J'ai été immédiatement captivée par la perspective de connecter des objets du quotidien à Internet pour les rendre plus intelligents et plus efficaces. Mon premier projet était relativement modeste, mais il a été un point de départ essentiel dans mon parcours. Nous avons reçu un exercice consistant à allumer une LED et la faire clignoter. Cet exercice, en apparence simple, a été une révélation pour moi. C'était ma première incursion dans le monde du codage et j'ai été immédiatement intégrée par la capacité de ces lignes de code à influencer le comportement d'un objet physique. Cela a incité ma passion pour la programmation et l'IoT. Alors, au cours de ma formation, j'ai eu l'occasion de travailler sur plusieurs projets IoT allant de simples exercices de LED clignotée aux solutions plus complexes. Parmi le projet Yaranal, mon coup de cœur, il s'agit d'une solution visant à optimiser sa consommation d'énergie, permettant aux utilisateurs de gérer à distance l'allumage et l'extinction des appareils électriques afin de surveiller leur consommation d'énergie. Ce projet a été un simple concret de l'impact positif que l'IoT peut avoir sur notre quotidien. Actuellement, en tant que développeuse IoT chez Prodem, j'ai l'opportunité de mettre en pratique les compétences acquises pendant ma formation à l'ISEP. Même si mon premier projet était simplement d'allumer une LED, elle a été le point de ma carrière dans l'IoT. Aujourd'hui, je travaille sur un projet du filtrage des eaux usées SegTech, où l'IoT joue un rôle crucial dans la surveillance en temps réel et la gestion à distance du système. Cela démontre comment même les projets les plus modestes peuvent contribuer à une carrière fructueuse dans le domaine de la technologie. C'était ma première expérience avec l'IoT. Je suis développeuse IoT, Internet of Things.
Merci beaucoup, Kadi. Merci. J'espère que tout le monde a bien réussi à vous comprendre. Il y avait un petit peu de problème de son, mais je pense que c'est par rapport à la connexion, mais je pense que c'était quand même compréhensible. Et je pense que de toute façon, la passion et l'intérêt pour toutes les technologies était bien, le codage et la programmation en particulier étaient bien présents dans vos propos. So I would now like to go to Renis, and so ask her as well to introduce herself, but by really sharing how, Renis, how you first encounter with coding and programming.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible enough?
Yes.
My name is Reni Sowino. I come from Nairobi, Kenya, and I am based in Kibera, one of the biggest slums in Kenya. I am a developer by profession. I do web development, and I run an organization called Code with Kids, where I train young kids in tech. My first experience with coding was back in 2012, when I was doing a school project and our teacher wanted us to put more emphasis on it, and she introduced us to a language called Java. At that point, I was really excited about getting to create something that will work on the computer and just getting to automate a program. So in 2012, that is where I fell in love with coding. That is where I started being interested in getting to understand how basically a computer works. And 12 years down the line, I have had a great experience with technology, with coding, and I appreciate every moment and every support I got. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ronis. And just to emphasize as well, but I'm sure we will have more time to talk about later as well, but you're also sharing your passion, right? So with your organization and with the Kids for the Kids Can Code, Kids Can Code for Africa, sorry. You're also you're sharing it as well with kids in your neighborhood. That's correct, right?
Yeah, so I'm able to share my passion with kids from my community, just showing them that if somebody from the community can make it, they too have a chance to make it. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Francis. So last but not least, Wiza. So could you also, by introduce yourself, share your first encounter with coding and programming?
Thank you, Elisa, and thank you for the whole Ecobank team for putting this together. Really an exciting conversation. And I see there's over 800 attendees. I see plenty of Malawian names. Moni and Togo Malawi, no say. Yeah, so my name is Wiza Jalakasi. I'm originally from Blantyre in Malawi. And my dad used to buy and sell computers around the time that I was 10 years old. He used to import them from South Africa, and they would come without an operating system. So I used to watch him set them up, and in a house full of computers and no other toys, you start to get curious. And by the time that I was 11, I was already writing code in BASIC, and this was some 20 years ago. So fast forward now, today I am in Sanya in Hainan province in China, making some presentations to some payment companies regarding payment systems technology in Africa. And I just want to say to all of the attendees here, I think digital skills can really be a complete game changer for us. At the time that I started this, I didn't know where it would take me. Now I've blown through 3 passports and I have several more trips coming up, all because of the power of coding and technology in Africa today.
Thank you so much, Wiza, and thank you for sharing that, because indeed there is a true power for coding and in Africa today, and we will actually come back to that. And I think what is also like fascinating from hearing from the 3 of you is actually that we do have Ronis and Wiza that kind of encountered coding and programming quite early in a recent age, like around 10 for both of them. But then you also have Kadi, like she kind of only started with coding like a couple of years ago, but still, still the passion is there, and you can still learn it and make a career out of it, and just decide that it's your passion and that's what you want to go for. Okay, so now that we have now that we know our speakers a bit more, that's now the time for our first live poll. And I'm going to take a bit of time to explain to everyone, so I'm sure that we all have the information. So you will soon have a pop-up window showing up on your screen, and you will have the option between 3 different themes for you to vote for. And basically the majority that's the theme that we will discuss next. So that's the question that we will ask next to our speakers. So I'm also going to say it in French just to make sure that everyone understands and that there's no translation lost here, because I can hear from the chat box that some people are struggling with the interpretation. Donc, c'est maintenant le premier sondage de ce webinaire. Donc, vous allez avoir le choix de la prochaine question qu'on va poser aux panélistes qui sont avec nous aujourd'hui. Une fenêtre va apparaître sur votre écran dans quelques petits instants et vous aurez une question avec 3 options. Vous aurez juste besoin de cliquer sur l'option que vous préférez pour pouvoir voter pour cette option. Et donc, nous irons après sur l'option qui aura reçu le plus de votes pour la poser aux candidats, aux panélistes, pardon. Vous aurez 45 secondes. D'accord? Donc, j'insiste là-dessus. Donc, la fenêtre va apparaître pendant 45 secondes. Et après, nous allons aller sur l'option qui aura été choisie par vous. So, you're going to have 45 seconds to choose from for your favorite options. So, let's put it on. All right. So, you should see on your screen the first poll, right? So now that you know our speakers, what would you like them to discuss? A, to know more about their journey. B, to know more about what coding and programming really are about. And C, to know more about why coding and programming are so crucial for Africa, for Africa's youth and beyond. So do click on your favorite option. You have another, like, I guess, 30 seconds or so, and we will go for the option that you have preferred. You have to click on the poll. You can't, if you put your favorite option on the chat box, we're not going to be able to count in. So just click on on the button next to your favorite option. Donc, c'est le premier sondage. Vous avez 3 options en termes de discussion pour continuer. Vous cliquez sur le petit rond, sur le petit bouton à côté de votre option préférée. Et c'est cette option-là qui sera posée aux intervenants. Et donc, ne mettez pas votre réponse dans la boîte à discussion parce qu'on ne sera pas en mesure de la comptabiliser. J'insiste, il faut vraiment pouvoir cliquer sur l'option que vous préférez. Donc, en savoir plus sur leur parcours, en savoir plus sur ce que le codage et la programmation veulent dire et représentent, ou bien en savoir plus sur pourquoi le codage et la programmation sont aussi importants pour la jeunesse en Afrique et dans le monde. Il ne vous reste plus que quelques secondes et la fenêtre va disparaître automatiquement. So I can see that some people have submitted their response already. That's great. Just a few more seconds and we will have the results. Donc, je vois que certaines personnes ont déjà voté. Donc, ce qui est très bien. Comme ça va nous permettre de se connaître les résultats. Pour baser sur certains commentaires que je viens de voir, les questions sont dans les 2 langues, français et anglais. Si vous regardez bien, il y a le français et après, il y a l'anglais. So just based on some of the comments that I just saw, the questions are in both languages, French and English. So if you look at it, you will see the French and then the English. So en savoir plus sur leur parcours, / to know more about their journey. So you have the 2 options there. Well, you have the 2 languages there. Just a few more seconds. And then the poll will stop. It's now your time to vote for your preferred option, and that will guide the conversation. Okay. So the poll is now over, and we have a major. So it's quite tight, actually. That's quite funny. That's quite interesting to see. So the majority of people basically would like to know more about coding and programming. So, and I think we might want, since it's really tight, I think we might want to combine the response, if you agree, Kadi, Renis, and Wiza. So let's define slightly further what coding and programming are about, and also explain why it's so important for the continent, so for the youth on the continent but beyond. And I would like to first ask the question to Wiza. So if you could, just maybe very briefly define a bit further for you what coding and programming are about. And then how you see its importance for Africa's youth and beyond.
Thanks, Elisa. I'll keep it brief, but feel free to interrupt me at any point. So from a definition perspective, I really think this is, it's very wide these days, but it's basically about automation, computers and machines. And basically, what skills do you need to have in order to be able to use the machines to do a lot of the work that humans used to do? And a lot of this is information work that has been progressively being automated over the last 10, 20, and 30 years. So it's not just about computers, it's about hardware, it's about fridges, it's about televisions, it's about medical equipment. Everything that has got silicon technology is something that can be programmed. And even all of you who are watching this now have exposure to technology. That's why you're connecting on Zoom. So there's a team at Zoom that is working on the back end, on the front end, all of these different pieces. Why is it important for African youth? Because today, and the reality is that we live in a highly globalized economy. There are no secrets anymore because of the internet. Can you imagine 50 years ago if you could say, I can get to talk into a screen to 900 people from all over the world? They would have accused you of doing witchcraft. But this is the world that we live in today. And from a competition perspective, we as young people in Africa need to realize that we're not competing only in our country. We're competing with children who are learning how to code from age 9 in South Korea, in Singapore, in London. And more jobs are going to require these skills. So in order for us to remain competitive, in order for us to develop the continent in a world where technology is the dominant driver for growth, we need to be able to have those skills to have a seat at the table. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much for that. It was very straightforward and very clear. Just one quick follow-up question, because I actually also asked myself the same question, and I saw it as well appearing on the chat box, is what is silicon technology? You talked about silicon technology. I think you gave a very good definition of technology, and we all use of innovation, of programming and coding, like we all use it, and we're also connected thanks to programming experts on Zoom today. But what is silicon technology?
Anything that has a screen, anything that has a speaker and can talk to you, anything that can connect to the internet, that is silicon technology. I think it's beyond the scope of this conversation to explain how and where those things work, but anything that is capable of processing digital instructions, binary code, that is silicon. And silicon is all over you. It's all over. If you look around, even your iron these days is having silicon. My washing machine sends me an alert when it's done. It's all silicon. So it's everywhere.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prida, for this clarification, because I saw the question popping up on the screen. So I'm going to ask the same question. So maybe Kadi, donc est-ce que par rapport à la définition que Wiza vient de donner sur le codage et la programmation, ainsi que l'importance critique que ça peut avoir que le codage et la programmation comme compétences ont pour la jeunesse en Afrique et même au-delà d'ailleurs, est-ce que vous avez des éléments que vous aimeriez compléter?
Est-ce que vous pouvez revenir sur la question?
Donc, la question, c'est une définition de codage et programmation. Et pourquoi est-ce que le codage et la programmation sont clés pour la jeunesse en Afrique?
D'accord, merci beaucoup. Alors, moi, je vais donner une définition du codage et de la programmation dans le domaine de l'IoT. Le codage et la programmation dans le domaine de l'IoT jouent un rôle crucial dans la création d'appareils et de systèmes intelligents. Le codage consiste à écrire des instructions, généralement en langage de programmation, qui permettent aux objets connectés de fonctionner de manière autonome et d'interagir avec leur environnement ou avec d'autres appareils. Le code IoT peut être relativement simple, comme le fait de contrôler une lettre à distance, ou est très complexe, par exemple pour gérer un réseau de capteurs de surveillance environnementale. La programmation IoT implique la conception à l'écriture de logiciels par ces dispositifs, en définissant leur comportement, leur réponse aux données capturées et leur interaction avec d'autres objets. Elle inclut également la gestion de communication, que ce soit par Wi-Fi, Bluetooth ou d'autres protocoles, afin de garantir que les appareils puissent transmettre des informations au serveur ou à d'autres objets connectés. En résumé, le codage et la programmation dans l'IoT permettent de rendre des objets physiques intelligents en leur permettant de collecter, de traiter et de partager des données et d'accomplir des tâches spécifiques contribuant afin à améliorer notre vie et à la résolution des problèmes.
Merci beaucoup, Kadi. Et est-ce que donc je pense que la définition était très claire, mais par rapport à pourquoi est-ce que ce sont des compétences qui peuvent être clés, est-ce que vous avez quelques éléments que vous aimeriez partager également?
J'ai pas entendu.
Pourquoi est-ce que ce sont des compétences qui sont clés pour la jeunesse aujourd'hui? Est-ce que vous avez des éléments à compléter peut-être par rapport à ce qui a été dit?
Oui. L'IoT offre une multitude d'opportunités pour la jeunesse en Afrique et dans le monde entier. Voici comment l'IoT peut être un catalyseur d'opportunités. Par exemple, dans l'innovation et l'entrepreneuriat, les jeunes peuvent exploiter l'IoT, développer de nouvelles idées, créer des startups et de contribuer à l'innovation technologique. Cela peut conduire à la création d'emplois et au développement de l'économie locale. Par exemple, dans l'éducation et la formation, l'IoT offre de nouvelles possibilités d'apprentissage en ligne et en formation en technologie. Les jeunes peuvent développer des compétences dans la programmation, la gestion de projets IoT et la cybersécurité. Des solutions locales. L'IoT peut être utilisé pour résoudre des problèmes locaux tels que la surveillance de culture agricole, la gestion de l'eau ou la santé. Les jeunes peuvent concevoir des solutions adaptées à leur communauté.
Merci beaucoup, Kadi. Donc, je vais poser la même question à Ronis, en particulier sur les opportunités de ce que le codage et la programmation peuvent apporter pour la jeunesse. Je voudrais juste faire une petite note que je trouve très intéressante. Je ne sais pas si vous avez l'occasion de voir les commentaires qui sont postés, mais certaines personnes posent des questions. Donc, par exemple, quelqu'un demandait ce qui était l'IoT et les participants ont répondu en même temps. Donc, je trouve qu'il y a un échange aussi entre les participants très intéressant. Donc, je voulais juste saluer cela. So, Ronis, coming to you. So, I think we now have some of a clearer understanding of coding, what coding and programming means. So basically coding being this kind of also like language between like us and any non-human being, if I may put it this way. So maybe Ronis, for you and also from your experience, why are coding and programming so crucial for Africa's youth today?
Okay, hello. So am I clear?
Yes.
So for me as an individual, I feel that coding is important to the African youth because it basically empowers us to create and shape the digital future. And also it provides us with opportunities and it helps us to foster innovation. Through coding, we're able to build applications, we're able to build software that make our life simple, that brings out the innovativeness in us. And then currently we're in a very rapidly changing world. So learning how to code is a pathway to empowerment for economic development to African youth. The African youth just having these skills, it's enough empowerment for them, yeah.
Thank you very much, Ronis, for this further insights on the importance of coding and programming, and also like coming back to what Wiza was saying at the beginning, also making sure that having in mind that there is this kind of fast-passing changing in terms of the world and the world economy. So it's also a question of being able to also remain relevant and competitive to what is happening like globally as well. So we are now coming to our second poll. So that will be your second option to all of you to vote again for what is your preferred theme for or your preferred topic of discussion or for our speakers. So the poll will come up, and you will have again this time 30 seconds because I believe that now you're more used to it and it will be like easier. Donc, on va demander donc, le deuxième sondage. Voilà. Donc, vous avez le sondage qui vient d'apparaître, le deuxième sondage qui vient d'apparaître sur l'écran. Donc, avec la deuxième possibilité pour vous de pouvoir guider la suite des discussions. Donc, vous avez de nouveau 3 options. En quoi les compétences numériques peuvent-elles déclencher des opportunités et autonomiser la jeunesse? Comment commencer son parcours numérique ou bien appuyer ses enfants pour se lancer? Et quelles sont les autres compétences que la jeunesse devrait acquérir? So that's your second opportunity now to guide the conversation and to ensure that your questions are also responded to. So you have 3 options this time. Knowing more about how digital skills can unlock opportunities and empower the youth. Knowing more about how to start a digital journey or to support your children to do so. And I think some people had asked this question in the chat box already. And knowing more about other skills that you think that our guests would think that young people should be equipped with. Donc, vous avez de nouveau quelques secondes pour répondre à la question. N'oubliez pas de voter sur le sondage, donc en cliquant sur le bouton à côté de votre option préférée. Parce que si vous mettez votre option préférée dans le chat, malheureusement, on ne pourra pas la comptabiliser. So please do vote for your favorite option on the poll. The poll is in both French and English, so you will have French written first and English written secondly. So do take time to read it carefully. Put your response or click on the button on the poll on the pop-up window. If you put it on the chat box, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to count it. So you have a few more seconds, and then we will ask the speaker with your preferred option. Donc, vous avez encore quelques secondes avant que le sondage ne se finisse, et nous demanderons après aux panélistes la question que vous avez préférée. Donc, c'est le dernier sondage, c'est le deuxième et le dernier sondage. OK, le sondage est fini, nous allons avoir les résultats qui vont apparaître. Okay, so this time for the poll, we actually have a clear majority for the second question, so which was how to start its digital journey, or how to support our children to support their digital journey. And I would actually like to ask the question first to Renice. So Renice, could you please share with the audience some insights on how to start a digital journey or to support children to start a digital journey?
Okay, thank you. So being an educator, being a great implementer of STEM education for kids, I think as a parent or as an elder sibling, you have to look at what your kid or your sibling likes. You know, I'll give an example. I have a 5-year-old son who is really interested in understanding how the computer works. His interest came about after seeing me facilitate a couple of sessions. And me as a parent, I not only give him a chance to explore the laptop, but I always guide him on the different things he can do through this computer. Because again, if you just hand over the laptop to them and connect it to the internet and leave them at that, it's not really empowering them. So you as an individual, you as the parent or the older sibling or the teacher, you have to have a clear knowledge of what are the best softwares or best applications that these kids can use to continue their interest. So if you have a kid that is interested in maybe coding or playing games, they like playing games and they will really want to understand how games work, you can first try by showing them videos of people explaining how video games are created. And then you can try now looking for a STEM makerspace or a coding institution near you that can support their vision or can support their dream of wanting to get into this digital world. Again, if you look at, there are so many different applications that have been built to enhance, to make learning easier. So you can check out in Play Store and look at different applications that are meant for kids. again, just be careful when letting kids explore technology on their own, because something that has every good thing has a bad side to it. So just letting the kids use the internet or technology without being monitored can be, again, risky stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ronis, for that. Donc, Ronis nous a beaucoup parlé de comment accompagner son enfant dans ce parcours digital. Donc, en rappelant qu'il est important, surtout quand l'enfant est curieux, de pouvoir, en tant qu'adulte, donc en tant que professeur, en tant que parent, en tant que formateur, en tant que grand frère ou grande sœur, de pouvoir aussi le guider. En fait, autonomiser un enfant autonomiser un enfant l'autonomiser d'un point de vue digital, c'est pas juste donner accès à un ordinateur, à une tablette, etc., mais c'est aussi pouvoir donc l'accompagner et être sûr que le contenu qui va lui être montré est aussi adapté à ce qu'il peut comprendre. Et donc, Ronis disait qu'il y a maintenant beaucoup d'applications ou de logiciels qui sont développés pour les enfants. Et qu'il y a donc beaucoup de choses qui peuvent être faites, mais il faut pouvoir vraiment les accompagner et les soutenir. Je vais passer la parole maintenant à Kadi, parce que Kadi, pour le coup, vous avez commencé votre parcours digital beaucoup plus tard, dans ce que vous avez pu nous dire tout à l'heure. Donc, je pense que ça pourrait être intéressant, basé aussi sur les commentaires qui ont pu être faits et la question, que vous puissiez nous dire, voilà, nous, si quelqu'un est plus âgé, Est-ce que vous m'entendez, Kadi?
Elisa, we lost you for a moment, but I think you're now back.
OK. Bon, mes excuses pour ça. Donc, ça, voilà, mes excuses. J'ai eu un souci de connexion de mon côté. Donc, Kadi, ce que je veux demander, c'est basé sur votre expérience à vous, étant donné que dans ce que vous disiez comme introduction, vous avez commencé votre parcours digital beaucoup plus tard, enfin, en tout cas pas en tant qu'enfant. Qu'est-ce que vous pourriez donner comme conseil pour justement les jeunes, les plus ou moins jeunes d'ailleurs, qui nous suivent aujourd'hui, pour se lancer dans ce parcours digital?
Merci beaucoup. Alors, moi, mon parcours dans le domaine de la technologie a émergé il y a de cela quelques années, après l'obtention de mon baccalauréat en série S2. Alors, pour encourager les jeunes, il faut encourager les jeunes à s'intéresser aux sciences et à la technologie, à l'ingénierie et aux mathématiques dès le plus jeune âge. Chercher un mentor dans le domaine numérique pour obtenir des conseils et de l'inspiration. Il faut aussi identifier ses intérêts et ses objectifs. Comprendre ce qui suscite l'intérêt, que ce soit la programmation, la conception, l'analyse de données ou d'autres compétences numériques spécifiques. Encourager l'inscription à des cours en ligne adaptés sur les plateformes. Apprendre en travaillant sur des projets concrets qui renforcent les compétences. Rester informé aussi des dernières tendances numériques en suivant des blogs, des podcasts ou des vidéos.
Super, merci beaucoup, Kadi. J'étais en train de lire aussi les commentaires que j'ai ratés pendant mon petit souci de connexion. Et je salue aussi le fait que Ronis et Wiza sont déjà en train de répondre aux différentes questions qui peuvent être posées, en donnant aussi des conseils supplémentaires, donc directement sur le chatbox. Donc, pour ceux qui sont connectés, pour les participants, n'hésitez pas à regarder. Wiza et Ronis ont déjà partagé beaucoup de liens. So I was catching up. So thank you very much, Kadi. And I was catching up on the comments that I missed during my connectivity issue. And I would like to thank you both, Wiza and Ronis, for already being kind of proactive and sharing all those additional links and information with the participants. And I would like to come to you, Wiza, and maybe also with a bit of like you have also like a slightly more global perspective from your work. Like you said, you're like in China right now. So what in terms of starting a digital journey, and in terms of also having a lasting digital journey, what would be your advice for the people connected today? Thank you. For all of us, actually, me included.
Thanks, Elisa. The first thing I'll say is that I think it's never really too late to get started. There are a lot of resources these days online to help you get the basics. The one that I recommend to everyone is freecodecamp.org. That helps people who have some computer experience get to understand how to start beginning their developer journey. In specific countries, you do see programs like, for example, Kenya has got Moringa School, where you can come from another career and basically learn how to code in a program that teaches you how to code in exchange for some of your future revenue, your future earnings, your salary for a period of time. So it makes it very easy. In Nigeria, there's Alt School, which is also doing the same thing, and they accept applications from all over the world online. I'll put the link in the chat. In terms of staying relevant, I think one thing that has been very interesting for me is that like the technology tools, they tend to evolve. So I used to be a programmer in C++ and PHP, and I built websites when I was in Malawi. Then I moved to Kenya to study. In Kenya, I learned new tools. And all the time, the tools are changing, but the fundamental concepts stay the same. So it's important to pay attention to the trends as to what is very interesting and what is very exciting. A big opportunity right now, I think, is going to be for coders who know how to work with AI. And you can use AI to make your coding a lot more efficient. So now it's never been easier to learn how to start to code. And then the demand is truly global. Today I'm in China. Yesterday I was in Singapore. I work for a Brazilian company that has operations in 20 countries. I spend half my time between South Africa and the UAE. And in all these places, we see the same types of challenges existing at massive, massive scale, where people who have this skill set can be able to make a meaningful contribution into how that changes. So a lot of the engineers, if you see the engineers that are working in Africa, there's about 750,000, according to a report that was done by Google and IFC, I think in 2021. Not all of them are working for African companies. Many of them are working for companies in Europe, in America, in Asia. So it's because those skills are relevant all across the globe. And I think paying attention to the key trends is really what makes a big difference. Now, last piece of advice for the parents. I think a lot of parents are secretly hoping that they can just get their children a device and install an app on it and then just let them go. You as parents have to be very actively involved in your children's coding journey. For me, my dad always used to have the time. I'll say, Dad, I need to help with this. I need help with this. Even if he doesn't know, he will find the resource online for me, or he'll buy me the thing that I need in order to go to the next level, which was a very big game changer for me. If I didn't have the support of my parents while I was still very young, I don't think I would have been able to get to where I am. So the parents, please be prepared to have an interest and an effort so that you can monitor the progress of your child as they're learning and guide them through whatever they need to go through next. You might not need to know everything that's there, but you need to be involved in that journey with them. It makes a very big difference as they start.
I thank you so much for that, and I think it was also like a nice wrap up as well, as you managed to touch upon both like like individual, like as adults, let me put it this way, like that basically it's not too late, and there's like a lot of things to happen, and it's also like a sector that evolves a lot and very, very fastly. So there's also a need to train and to keep oneself or himself up to date, but also like the support and the role that parents can play for their children. So I think it's also like a nice way to respond to the question. So thank you again for that, for all the advices, for all of to the three of you. And I could see from a lot of the reactions online that via the chat box that people are really excited, and that's also something that we wanted to do through this webinar. But that's not the end of the webinar yet, but let me not conclude it right now. So we're soon gonna go to a Q&A session, right? So you will have a couple of more minutes to ask some additional questions to the speakers. But before we do, I have one last question for you, because we've been very and I think not only today, but generally there's a lot of optimism around digital skills and what it can bring to the continent. So I would like to ask each of you, and you just please respond in 1 minute, trying to have the time constraint in mind. Do you think that digital skills can really ignite Africa's future? And I want to start with you, Kadi. Donc, comme je disais, donc, est-ce que, pour conclure, nous allons après avoir une séance de questions-réponses avec les participants. Mais pour conclure, j'aimerais vous demander si, et en essayant d'être un peu plus objectif, parce que c'est vrai qu'on parle beaucoup du potentiel du digital, du numérique, mais est-ce que vous pensez vraiment que les compétences numériques ou les compétences digitales peuvent dynamiser le futur de l'Afrique?
Oui, les compétences numériques peuvent dynamiser l'avenir de l'Afrique de multiples façons. Par exemple, stimuler l'innovation. Les compétences numériques permettent de créer et de développer des entreprises technologiques innovantes, améliorer l'accès aux services essentiels, c'est-à-dire des solutions IoT peuvent améliorer l'accès à des services essentiels tels que la santé, l'éducation, les services bancaires, l'approvisionnement en eau. Ils peuvent aussi renforcer l'éducation. Les compétences numériques peuvent améliorer l'éducation en facilitant l'accès aux ressources éducatives en ligne, optimiser l'agriculture et l'agro-industrie. Par exemple, l'IoT et les technologies de l'information peuvent être utilisées pour surveiller les cultures, prévoir les conditions météorologiques. En résumé, les compétences numériques sont un moteur essentiel pour le développement en Afrique, permettant d'avoir des diversités économiques et d'exploiter les opportunités offertes par la révolution numérique. En investissant dans l'acquisition des compétences numériques, l'Afrique peut réaliser son potentiel et renforcer son avenir dans l'économie mondiale de la technologie. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Kadi. Merci pour nous montrer à quel point donc les compétences numériques, donc le numérique en général, donc contribuent en fait vraiment à tous les aspects de la société et de l'économie et de nos vies. Donc merci beaucoup. Donc Ronice, I'm going to come to you and ask you the same question. So do you really think that digital skills can really ignite Africa's future?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again a little bit louder?
Sure. I want to ask you whether you really think that digital skills can ignite Africa's future.
Yes. So for me, I feel like the digital skills can ignite Africans' future, basically because I work with kids, and if you see the innovations that these kids are coming up with, we know like the future is going to be bright. And for me, I feel like my community is going to benefit a lot from the innovations that these kids are coming up with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ronice. That was a very easy and straightforward response. So thank you so much for that. And I'm just going to ask the same question to Wiza as well before we move to the Q&A.
Thank you, Elisa. I would even go as far as saying that the question is perhaps the wrong one. I think the question is, how much will digital skills ignite Africa's future? Because it's already happening. The estimation in the IFC report is that by 2030, this is going to be a $130 to $180 billion industry. And we're already well on the way there. When you look at the large publicly traded companies in each of the markets that we're in, you look at Nigeria, South Africa, Malawi, it's either a telephone company, or a bank like Ecobank in the 33 markets that you're in. And digital is increasingly playing a very fundamental role. Without digital, Elisa, you wouldn't be able to have almost 1,000 people in this webinar celebrating with you on the Ecobank Day. So now I think the question for us is, how much do we want to be involved in this journey, especially because this is one of the few things that we can actually export. This is a skill that we can actually export to global markets and be able to improve our situation. I think many times people talk about, oh, but how is Africa going to be developed? We're going to be left behind. I think it's really important for us to develop our capacity to have wealth, to have money. When you have money, it makes all the things that you want to do a lot easier. So it's definitely going to happen. And I hope that this conversation can inspire some more people to get involved with us on the journey. Because as we are going, whether you want to come with us, I don't know, but as we are going.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and thank you for also like opening the conversation. I mean, I really appreciate it, and I think indeed that you shared some very good food for thought. It's happening, and the question is indeed, how do we also ensure that we contribute to it, and that we not only contribute to it, but also like maybe lead as well this change. So thank you very much, Lisa, for that. So I want to thank you really, like all of you, for sharing your experiences and your views. So honestly, for me, it's really been really great to moderate this session and to listen to you. And I also learned a lot. I'm also now way more able to define myself what coding and programming are about, and also to be an even stronger advocate for digital skills. I'm trying to be mindful of time, but I do think it is important that we address some further questions. So I would like to give the opportunity. So a lot of things have been asked, a lot of things have been responded to already live through the chat box, so which is really great. But there's still a few questions that I think are pending. I can see one right now, and it's one of the latest that came through, which is around girls and digital, because in this panel we're very lucky, we have 2 women and only 1 man. But if we look at the reality right now, the digital sector remain mostly male, and there's still a lot of women that, or even girls like that, are not necessarily entering this space. So the question that was asked is, how can we reinforce digital skills toward girls in Africa, and how can we drive more advocacy on girls and digital skills across the continent? And I would like, maybe first, I'm going to ask the question to Weza, and then I would like both Kadi and Renis to also share your own experience in this journey, like, as being, and maybe sharing a bit further, like how this journey has been for you. So Weza, maybe on this one, because I remember that's also something that you told me when we put together the webinar, right? That you were really happy to be with a webinar on this theme with women mostly.
Yeah, so I think it's great, and I'm really excited to be able to share the stage with both Kadi and Renis. I think their journey is very inspiring, and there's a lot that people can take as an example. So actually, by policy, I don't appear on all male panels. And I say this because it's one of the things that I can do as a man to make a little bit of a difference. I will not pretend to be a woman. I'll not pretend to understand how the dynamic is different, but I have empathy and I have perspective. And I think one of the biggest things that men can do is to be more intentional about creating spaces for women to be more actively participating in the space. And it's easy for me to say, on the side of women, I think it's also a good time to realize that, hey, things have changed a lot, and it's a very different environment that we live in. A lot of the most talented software engineers I know are actually women. And you lose nothing by putting yourself out there. I think the thing with men is, I don't know, we have this foolish confidence, is what I can call it, where even if you're not qualified to do something, you're still going to try. And I don't see as much of this coming from women. So I would encourage for most of the women who are thinking about it, and maybe you're doubting that, hey, this doesn't really sound like it's for me, or I can do this. I'm here to tell you, no, it's you. You can actually do this. You just have to put yourself out there. And for the men, be intentional. Make spaces. Promote the women that you know who are doing good things. Don't think of only your bro first. Think of your sis as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Wiza. Bernice, I would like to come to you, and I also would like to add a layer to it, because you're also yourself an educator, right? And you're also training kids. So is it something that you also take into consideration, that you encourage? Do you have also kids, I should say girls, attending your training? So is there anything that you could share with us about that?
Okay, thank you for this. Initially, when I started the program, I started it as Code with Girls, because I felt like I needed to empower the girls more, because when I was in uni, I realized we were few females. But then I realized if we really want to bridge this digital divide, we start it when these kids are young. They start learning programming all together, they start learning coding all together, and boys will see that girls can code, and girls can see that they can work together, and it can be a collaboration. So for our program, we really encourage our girls to come for the program. And as we, maybe in different countries or different places, it's different. But here in Kibera, you will find out that a girl will be tasked to take care of their siblings, yet the boy will be led to go and play or go for football or stuff. So for us, what we do is we always allow our girls who have been tasked with the responsibility of taking care of their younger siblings to come with their younger siblings to the space. And then us as the educators, we put it a mandatory, like, to take care of these young kids while their sisters are learning how to code. Because we don't want a girl to miss our coding class because they were told to stay at home and look after their younger siblings. So we've created a space whereby all these kids that have been tasked with the mandate to take care of their siblings can come with their younger siblings, they learn, while their younger siblings are allowed to play and just explore. So for us, or for me, one of the major things is empowering young girls. I was empowered. My mom really did a good job empowering me and giving me a chance to explore technology without putting limitations to me. I'm doing the same to these young girls. I'm being a big sister to them, just letting them know that they can explore technology and still win. Yeah, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. So if I hear you well, it's basically about empowering young girls and be intentional about it. So also making sure that something is integrated. And it's also kind of coming back to what was to what Wiza was saying in terms of making this decision actually. So I think it's something that is very important. And I also want to ask Kadi maybe about like our own experience and whether let me switch into French to ask you the question. Donc Kadi, par rapport à vous, par rapport à votre expérience, est-ce que voilà, comment est-ce que ça a pu se passer? Est-ce que vous aussi à un moment vous avez pu être par exemple pour vous-même, vous avez décidé ok, c'est maintenant sur les compétences numériques que je veux me focaliser et je veux aussi peut-être pouvoir les partager ou partager ma passion autour de moi avec mes amis, ma famille, mes sœurs, etc.
Merci beaucoup, Elisa. Alors, moi, mes débuts n'étaient pas du tout faciles. C'était très difficile parce qu'on me disait que tu ne vas pas réussir dans ce domaine. Il faut arrêter les stéréotypes de genre et de promouvoir les modèles féminins dans le secteur des technologies parce que les femmes, ils ont un potentiel dans le domaine de la technologie, ils ont un énorme potentiel dans le domaine de la technologie et leur participation renforce la diversité et l'innovation. Il faut soutenir les femmes à s'engager dans le domaine numérique et contribuer à un avenir plus prometteur pour tous.
Donc, il faut vraiment être aussi très intentionnel. C'est aussi ce que j'entends dans ce que vous venez de dire, Kadi. Et il faut pour le coup, basé sur ce que vous venez de dire, il faut aussi vous-même en tant que personne, en tant que développeuse vous-même, c'est aussi une décision que vous avez prise et vous savez que même s'il peut y avoir des réflexions qui sont faites, vous allez quand même de l'avant et c'est votre décision et votre choix et votre passion.
Oui, c'est ma passion.
Très bien. Alors, il y a beaucoup de questions. On ne va pas pouvoir prendre toutes les questions parce que le temps passe et nous avons, comme je l'ai indiqué tout à l'heure, encore une petite surprise pour vous à la fin. Je vois que beaucoup de contacts ont déjà été partagés. Donc, Renis a partagé son LinkedIn, par exemple. So I'm just trying to look at the questions and see whether there's a specific theme that we might also want to still address, because I do think that most of the questions were already answered to during the discussion. So maybe there are a few questions about Ecobank as well. So I would like to maybe seize this opportunity so as I mentioned earlier, sorry, I'm freezing a bit from my side. I hope you can hear me. Okay, thank you, because it froze a bit from my side. So thank you very much for that. So today and this year we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Ecobank Day. And for this 10th edition, we have decided to focus on digital skills and specifically coding and programming. And for us, it's also really a proof that we strongly believe in digital skills and digitalization as the way to go. Or I should maybe to also quote what Wizard was saying is like, there's not much of an option. That's something that we also have to do because it is happening, and we have to ensure that that our children are equipped with all the digital skills that they will need, that they need today and that they will also need tomorrow. Organizing this webinar today was also for us very critical because we wanted to be able to share that with you, share with you, explain with you why coding and programming are so important, but not kind of just talking, but really having doers and passionates and also like influencers and educators in the field to be sharing their own experience, their own views. So today the webinar is just the start of the celebrations of Ecobank Day. Activities, the actual Ecobank Day will be on so this coming Saturday, October 21st, as you can see on my screen. And that's where most of the activities will be happening in your different in the different countries where Ecobank operates in across sub-Saharan Africa. So because of the theme or aligned with the theme, activities will be around training, so digital training, providing young people, girls, boys, children from every age with digital trainings from, I want to say, some basic digital literacy all the way to coding and programming, depending on what the country will have decided and what partner they are working with. But we are also creating and supporting the creation of IT labs, because at the end of the day, if you also want children to be digitally equipped, they also need to have access to the equipment that goes with it, right? So they also need to be able to have access to a laptop, Wi-Fi connection, basic softwares, as it was mentioned by our speakers earlier. So that will be happening on Saturday. And I will echo the words of our GC, the group's CEO that did the opening, that we invite all of you to check what your local Ecobank is doing. So in your country, there's definitely something going on. I'm not going to be able to name everything now, just because it could be taking too much time, but there is definitely something happening. So I really encourage you to reach out to your local Ecobank and see what's happening and how you can contribute. And maybe also if maybe your child can also be like participate in one of the trainings that will be organized. So I want to again thank you all for your participation, and to thank all the panelists. I've been really inspired myself, and I've been really happy and to have this discussion with you. I really enjoyed as well the interaction with all the participants connected, and I hope that you did as well as participants. So thank you, Kadi, thank you, Ronis, and thank you, Lisa, for having been so remarkable speakers, sharing your knowledge and your own experience with us, for taking the time to respond as well to all the questions online. And I would also like to seize the opportunity to thank our partners, so the Global Partnership for Education and UN Women, for the great collaboration in designing this webinar. Now, to conclude, I would like to, so we have this surprise for you, right, that I mentioned in my introduction. And so we have prepared a quiz for all of you to participate in, to kind of test your knowledge on Ecobank Day 2023, but also on your speakers. So based on what they have also shared with us. So I hope that you've been listening very carefully to this conversation, so that you can respond to the quiz. So in terms of format, it will happen similarly to the poll. So you will have a pop-up window showing up or appearing, I should say, on your screen very soon. You will have 5 questions with 3 possible responses. Then you will just have to click on the response that you think is correct. And you will have 5 minutes to do that. Now, once you have done it, don't forget to click on the submission button to ensure that you can see the correct response. So I just want to say that in French as well, to ensure that everyone understands. Donc, nous allons maintenant passer à la surprise. Nous avons préparé un quiz pour pouvoir tester vos connaissances sur la journée Ecobank 2023, mais aussi vos connaissances sur nos panélistes. Donc, juste assurer que vous les avez bien écoutés, que vous avez bien, vous avez bien écouté ce qu'ils ont dit sur eux. Vous allez avoir, en termes de format, ça va être similaire à l'exercice qu'on a fait tout à l'heure par rapport au sondage. Donc, il va y avoir une fenêtre qui va apparaître sur votre écran. Il va y avoir 5 questions à choix multiples, donc 3 réponses par question. Vous cliquerez sur la réponse, qui vous paraît la correcte. Et à la fin, n'oubliez pas de soumettre votre questionnaire, votre quiz, enfin vos réponses, pour savoir si vous avez les bonnes réponses. So I'm gonna have the quiz coming up. You're gonna have a couple of minutes, so 5 minutes. Donc le quiz va apparaître sur vos écrans. And as it is appearing, I also want to make sure that here we go. So you should see the quiz on your screen. So you have 5 questions and 3 possible responses. The questions are in both English and French. And do click on the response that you think is correct. Donc, vous devez avoir maintenant sur vos écrans le quiz. Il y a 5 questions, 3 réponses possibles par question. Les questions sont dans les 2 langues, donc faites bien attention, c'est écrit dans les 2 langues. Et cliquez à chaque fois sur la réponse qui vous semble correcte. Et après, n'oubliez pas d'appuyer sur le bouton « Soumettre » pour être sûr de pouvoir voir les réponses. Ça va vous permettre de tester vos connaissances et savoir si vous avez bien suivi nos discussions. Donc, la première question, que célébrons-nous cette année? Les 10 ans de Ecobank, les 10 ans de la journée Ecobank ou les 10 ans de la fondation Ecobank? La deuxième question, quel est le thème de la campagne triannuelle que nous lançons cette année? Transformer l'Afrique grâce à l'éducation, réussir avec les compétences numériques ou alors l'inclusion financière pour tous. Troisième question, Kadi a créé une application qui contrôle les objets électriques à distance. Comment s'appelle cette application? Light Up, Yombale Market ou Yakanal. Quatrième question, Ronnie, c'est la fondatrice d'une organisation. Quel est le nom de cette organisation? Code for Kids Africa, Girls Can Code Kenya ou Coding for Children? Et enfin, dernière question, Wiza est le directeur du développement des marchés africains pour une entreprise brésilienne. Quel est le nom de cette entreprise? Pardon. Brazilian Money, E-Banks ou alors Banco de Brasil? Donc voilà, prenez le temps. Vous avez quelques minutes pour pouvoir répondre à ce quiz. N'oubliez pas de soumettre vos questions, vos réponses, pardon, après. Vous aurez comme ça les bonnes réponses. Donc, j'en profite pour vous rappeler que si vous avez envie de participer ou d'en savoir plus sur les activités que Ecobank dans votre pays organise, n'hésitez pas à vous rapprocher de votre Ecobank local. Dans la plupart des pays, les activités de la journée Ecobank se passeront le samedi 21, donc après-demain. Et je vous rappelle que le thème de cette année, ce sont donc les compétences numériques. Donc, une série à travers les pays dans lesquels nous opérons, une série de formations digitales, de formations au digital, je devrais dire, pardon, va être organisée et des salles d'informatique seront créées dans différentes écoles, ou bien alors rénovées dans différentes écoles ou dans différentes universités. Donc, chaque pays fait des choses un petit peu différentes, mais dans la même thématique. Donc, je vous invite vraiment à vous rapprocher de votre banque locale pour pouvoir voir ce qui se passe et voir si vous avez envie d'y participer. J'en profite également, encore une fois, pour remercier tous les panélistes d'aujourd'hui. Vraiment, la discussion a été, je pense, très intéressante. Je vous remercie aussi beaucoup pour d'avoir accepté de jouer le jeu de ce webinaire un peu plus interactif, donc avec les sondages. Donc vraiment merci pour cela. So I would like to, as we're waiting for people to select their questions or to respond, I should say, to the quiz, I would really like to thank all of you again. So really, Renis, Wiza, and Kadi, you've been really, really great speakers. I mean, you can see it right now by the number of thumb ups and hearts and claps, and I don't know how it's called, the other emoji with the, like, you know, with the party. So you can see that people really appreciated the conversation. I think you have shared a lot of very, very useful information. You have shed some lights as well on what's coding and what's programming are about, really explaining very gently and clearly what it is, why it is so important. I think people also appreciated you sharing about your own journey and sharing like all the tips for people to start their journey. So I think it's been very very appreciable to everyone. So thank you again to the three of you. Sorry. I actually hope that the three of you do have the response to the webinar, right? To the quiz, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you have the response about your staff, right? But I hope that you also have the response about the other speakers.
Yeah, we do. We didn't have the opportunity to participate in the poll. So just take our word for it.
I will. I will.
I'm going to drop the conflicting call, but thank you so much, Elisa. It's been great. Really, really appreciate it. Renis, Kadi, I hope we get a chance to stay in touch and we'll be catching each other somewhere soon. To the audience members, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We really appreciate it and enjoy Ecobank Day.
Thank you very much. So the quiz is now over, and so you should be able all to see your response, or the correct response, I shall say, on your screen. So for the first question, what are we celebrating this year? The correct response is the 10th anniversary of Ecobank Day. For the second question, what is the theme of the 3-year campaign we are launching this year? The correct response is transforming Africa through education. Third question, Kadi created an app to control electric devices remotely. What is the name of the app? Correct response is Yakanal. The fourth question is, Renis is the founder of an organization. What is the name of the organization? The correct response is Code with Kids Africa. And last but not least, Wither is currently the Director of Africa Market Development for a Brazilian company. What is the name of this company? The correct response is eBanks. So with that, I thank you all for being with us today. I wish you a very nice rest of the day and a happy Ecobank Day 2023. Merci beaucoup. Merci à tous. À bientôt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.